Hi, it's Lisa Bowman Library with a teen book spotlight that's all new. Our theme for this week is on the ocean. And believe it or not, there are a ton of books that have been written about being on the ocean, taking place on the ocean or like right by the ocean, like on an island or something, right on the coast. So we're going to take a look at 6 titles that fall into the realm of being on the ocean. I can promise you this, not all of them are pirate titles, I promise. So our first one is The Castaways by Ian Lawrence. So this is filled with nonstop action. Tom Tin and his ragtag crew just escaped off an island where they were being held prisoners, and now they are on this ship, and they are trying to make their way from the middle of nowhere in the ocean to England, where there is this priceless jewel that they have found out about, and they are going to go find it. They know it's waiting just for them. But things just get worse and worse as their journey continues, and they're running out of supplies, there's storms, there's even shark attacks, and there's pirates who are chasing them, because these pirates, they want the jewels for themselves as well. So that's a race between Tom Tin's crew and these pirates to see who gets to the jewels first. There are twists and turns, and just when you think everything should be going fine, it isn't, even when they do reach the destination that they are trying to get to find this priceless jewel. If you enjoy a seafaring story that's exactly what you picture life would be in the seas in the 1700s, this is a must-read. This is The Castaways. So escape by sea. So we are going all the way back to around 210 BC in this historical adventure. So our main character's name is Sarah. She is 15 years old, and she's living in the city of Carthage. Her father is a senator, and he's a successful stage reader, and her older brother's off fighting in the Punic Wars against the Romans, like the ancient Romans. So when they receive word, though, that the Romans are coming, the army has been defeated, and her brother is dead, Sarah's father becomes so grief-stricken that he's almost like frozen, and it's going to be up to her to save their family. So Sarah and her father, they set off on one of these trading vessels, and they don't really have that much with them. It was one of those, we gotta go, and they just take off. There's not much on board for supplies, and that is when this journey begins, one that's gonna change Sarah's life forever. So it's complete with an incredibly strong female character. There's pirate battles, there's political intrigue, there's action, adventure, a touch of romance. This book has a little bit of everything. You're not going to be able to stop reading it. This is Escape by Sea. One of my favorites that takes place on the ocean is Bloody Jack. So it is London, 1797, and Mary's family has all been killed by the plague, leaving her an orphan and with nothing. And she's only 8 years old. So in order to survive, she finds herself with this gang of orphans, and they end up, relying on each other, and they teach each other everything they need in order to survive on the streets of London. As she grows older and the years pass, though, and the leader of their gang is killed, Mary decides that she needs to do something different. She can't keep living this life, so she decides that she wants to join the British Navy. But here's the problem. The British Navy doesn't take girls, so she does what she needs to, and she decides to cut her hair, and she disguises herself as a boy, complete with a different name of Jack Faber, and then she finds herself on the HMS Dolphin, sailing the seas with a crew of men, all of whom she needs to make sure that they know she is not a girl. But that's going to be easier said than done, especially as they're fighting pirates, and they're living on a Navy boat in the early 1800s. Not like the boats that we think of today. So this is the first in a very lengthy series. I will tell you there are numerous installments in this series, but as soon as you finish Bloody Jack, you're going to want to check out the next one, because you're going to want to know what happens next. I love this series. If you want something that's filled with nonstop action, adventure, pirates, good versus evil type stuff, pick up this one. This is Bloody Jack. The Outcast by John Flanagan. And if you read Ranger's Apprentice, you're going to want to pick up this one. This is the first in the Brother Band Chronicles. So it's set in the northern land of Scandia. 16-year-old Hal needs to join what's called a brother band. Now, Hal has never had it easy, though, because he's considered a half-breed. He's half Scandinavian, and he's half something else, meaning he has had to always work just twice as hard for anyone to respect him. So a brother band, so before we get started into why a brother band is important, it's this group of boys that train together and they compete against other brother bands in order to find jobs and positions on what are called wolf ships as crew members and warriors. So the better the brother band you're in, the better position you're going to end up getting. When Hal finds himself, though, as a crew member in this brother band that's filled with other outcasts, no one expects them to do anything or gain any respect or attention, but there may be something said for being a group that isn't noticed, or there's no, actually people thinking they're going to do something. While all the other brother band stuff is happening, though, there is a setup for this good versus evil battle when the evil pirate Zabak, who has appeared in town, he's looking for something precious. Everything's gonna come to a head. So this is the first in a series. Again, you don't need to read the Ranger's Apprentice series to understand this, even though there are some overlaps every now and then. But this book is so good. This is The Outcast by John Flanagan. Part of Your World by Liz Braswell, and this is part of the Twisted Tales series. So have you ever wondered what happened after the happy ending of The Little Mermaid? Well, this kind of imagines what happened, plus while re-imaging the story of The Little Mermaid. So in this twisted tale, Ariel and Eric actually never marry. At the end of the movie as we know it, they marry. Well, in this take, they don't marry. Instead, Ariel ends up returning to her family in the sea, but she is now voiceless, and she's alone while Prince Eric ends up marrying Ursula, who's disguised as this beautiful princess, and she's using Ariel's voice to pretend it's her own. And even worse, King Triton, Ariel's father, is being held captive. So it's going to be up to Ariel and her friends to try to save the day and the kingdom from ultimate destruction. So this action-packed take on a well-known story and fairy tale is one that does everything you think it turns it on its head, and it may inspire you to think past the stories you think you already know. So this is part of your world. And our last one is The Beauty Queens by Liva Bray. So the contestants for the Miss Teen Dream competition, all 50 of them, are flying together when their plane crashes, only leaving 15 survivors. With no one knowing where they are, it's going to be up to them to survive on this deserted island they find themselves in, smack in the middle of the ocean. No one knows where it is. But come to find out, this island actually isn't really that deserted. As some of the contestants go into survival mode, others continue to actually work on their pageant skills, and they end up having to come together in order to survive, especially when they learn the hard way. They're not alone on this island, but there is something very dark and sinister taking place, as well as something very illegal. So this is a satirical look at, plane crashes, survival stories, and even there's some satiric stuff in there about media and what it's considered to be beautiful, filled with humor, adventure, and told in a style that's completely Liva Bray. This is Beauty Queens. So these are just 6 of the books that we have here at the library that take place on the ocean, that type of theme. As you can see, they're all kind of different. So come on down, feel free to check out one of these, or we can help you find whatever perfect book that you are looking for, either on or maybe off the ocean. I hope you tune back next week. We have a whole new teen book spotlight, and I hope you have a great week.